to mislead the unwary within and outside Nigeria into unfair judgment and disruptive behavior. On the contrary, both our deeds and words have shown how committed this administration has been to the well-being and welfare of citizens, even with the steadily dwindling revenues and the added responsibilities and restrictions due to the coronavirus pandemic. No Nigerian government in the past has methodically and seriously approached poverty alleviation like we have done.
While reaffirming federal government's commitment to preserving the unity of the country, the president urged the youth to take the part of honor by ending the street protests, as well as resisting attempts by subversive elements to destabilize the country and truncate democracy.
For you to do otherwise will amount to undermining national security and the law and order situation. Under no circumstances will this be tolerated. This government respects and will continue to respect all the democratic rights and civil liberties of the people, but it will not allow anybody or groups to disrupt the peace of our nation. And I call on all Nigerians to go about their normal businesses.
President Buhari, who enjoined security agencies to protect lives and property of all law-abiding citizens, paid tribute to the police personnel who lost their lives in the line of duty. He also used the opportunity to thank members of the international community for their concern about the ongoing developments in Nigeria, saying, however, that they should seek to know all the facts available before either taking a position, rushing to judgment, or making hasty pronouncements. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Political analysts have identified specific areas in President Muhammadu Buhari's broadcast that addressed the legitimate demands of the SARS protesters and the emerging security risk management expert Kabiru Adamu identified thematic points, including acknowledging citizens' right to protest, as well as programs of government that targeted at the youth.
Welfare of the police, which was one of the demands by the SARS protesters, even though they restricted it to salary, or Mr. President expanded it to welfare. And incidentally, his administration has provided the platform for that by passing the Police Trust Fund Act. So Mr. President spoke about that. The fourth one is poverty eradication, which I think he spent more time in that. The fifth one is he regretted the loss of life. And I think based on the feedback I got, that is where he should have probably done better. A lot of the people that responded felt there was no empathy in Mr. President's message.
On his part, a former Deputy Governor of Abia State, Chris Akomas, described the President's speech as encompassing and very strategic.
Areas that people are coming up with information which may be true or half truth or not true at all. And for a government, you deal on facts. And this is a presidential speech. You don't just say things. You have to get the facts.
The two guests shared their expectations forward.
What I expect is a strong, coordinated effort. There is need to consciously restore confidence to the people. Confidence about their movements and freedom to, go about their normal businesses.
Eminent Nigerians continue to sue for peace after weeks of protests against police brutality turned chaotic. The latest appeal is from Catholic Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja, Don Cardinal Onaikon. The cleric sympathized with the youth, but wants them to now know that to give peace a chance.
Many people have listened to you. You have to give people time to respond adequately. for too long, things can get out of hand. We sympathize with those who have lost their lives in this crisis. May their souls rest in peace. We also sympathize with those who have lost a lot of livelihood. Everybody will agree that no matter what your good intentions are, you cannot allow chaos to ensue. Because at the end of the day, if the country descends into chaos, everybody will suffer.
He also has a word of advice for the government.
The government should admit that we are in a situation of emergency. They shouldn't think that we can continue to run things like we have done before. I would strongly suggest that they consider that we are in a state of emergency and invite others to join them, not just restrict themselves to their friends and their party members. Nigeria is full of very good people. Let them get involved. And let the government admit we have a serious problem on our hands. We need every Nigerian to cooperate.
After all the dust settles, Cardinal Onaikon advises that things can no longer be business as usual. The Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has condemned the killing of security operatives and destruction of a police station by hoodlums in the state. He made this known in a broadcast in response to the hijack of the End SARS protests. Bright Ebucho reports.
Despite the curfew imposed by the Imo State government to prevent escalation of violence by those who recently hijacked the EndSARS protest in Imo State, some hoodlums have continued to violate the stay-at-home order, engaging in the destruction of lives and property. Governor Hope Uzodinma, in a statewide broadcast, condemns the ugly incident of Wednesday, October 21, 2020, which resulted in the murder of security operatives, burning of police stations, destruction and harassment of innocent citizens in the state. While sympathizing with the affected families, Governor Uzodinma assures of justice for the victims, stressing that the actions of the hoodlums have set the state backwards.
The state government is, to say the least, shocked at the level of reckless violence unleashed by these merchants of unprovoked bestiality. If these agents of death and destruction ever believed in the noble cause of the EndSARS protesters, they would have been minded that means that they cannot seek cure for brutality with even more brutality.
He further appeals to residents of the state to comply with the directive on the curfew imposed by the state government until further notice.
In this circumstance, the government wants to make it absolutely clear that the curfew announced on October 20th is still very much in force. Security agencies have been charged to enforce the curfew to the letter. This means that there should be no movement of both vehicles and human beings in the state for now.
In Owerri, Bright Ebucho, NTA News.
Similarly, in Ondo State, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has announced the imposition of a 24-hour curfew in the state following cases of violence in some parts of the state, occasioned by End-SARS protests. This was contained in a state broadcast to the people of Ondo State. Abiola Rio tells us more.
Worried by the trend of violence which was evident in some parts of Ondo State, especially at the state capital, Akure, Governor Akeredolu in a state broadcast said it was clear that some undesirable elements have hijacked the hitherto peaceful protest, thereby causing chaos and threatening safety of lives and property. The governor urged the youth to give government more time to accede to their demands. In the meantime, Governor Akeredolu has inaugurated a judicial panel of inquiry led by retired High Court Judge Justice Salisu Adeshola Sadiq on the alleged illegal activities of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigerian Police Force, SARS, in the state. According to the governor, The decision was part of the state governor's steps to ensure justice for victims of extrajudicial treatment in the hands of the disbanded SARS operatives.
To receive and investigate complaints of police brutality is not restricted to SARS brutality, but police brutality or extrajudicial killing.
The chairman of the panel said the panel will not be found wanting in its terms of reference and will also not jeopardize the confidence reposed in it. The Judicial Panel of Inquiry has 6 months to submit its report. Meanwhile, the situation in Akure, the state capital, remains calm, but the streets are devoid of much movement, while markets and other commercial outlets are shut. In Akure, Abiola Rio, NTA News.
Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State conducts assessments of areas affected by recent SARS violence. Jennifer is our guide there. Hi, Jennifer. Hope Lagos is calm today.
Kinoli. Now, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has begun touring parts of the city affected by days of mayhem and vandalism, which took place following the breakdown of law and order in the wake of Tuesday's night's alleged shooting of unarmed SARS protesters at the Lekki Toll Plaza. Nosa Usula completes the story.
The governor, who visited the council secretariat of Ajiromi Ifelodun local government area of the state, was received by the executive chairman of Ajiromi Ifelodun local government and Ajiromi Ifelodun local council development area. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who inspected the remains of burnt vehicles numbering 86 and looted buildings and offices in the secretariat, expressed dismay at the actions of vandals. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who also visited the Ajeromi Divisional Police Headquarters, empathized with women and children believed to be wives and kinsmen of officers in the barracks.
Let our police for Ajeromi here. There's not for us. Go with not Ajeromi police. They will live low. They will die successfully in Jesus' name. Because if they be dead, final will not dead. If they be dead, God never kill us. We have police children and enough is enough. They should stop killing our mothers. We will not have this anymore. We will not have this anymore.
The governor's entourage left abruptly to Lioni police station in Ifelodun LCDA to inspect the police station that was set ablaze by rampaging thugs. In Lagos, Nosa Usula, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the police in Lagos have begun recovering looted goods and property from several shoplifters at the toll gate plaza Lekki. Dr. Guyemi, who went round town to monitor the situation with the curfew still in place, reports that the security agencies have been deployed to strategic locations in the metropolis.
Bring that box out. If you question them.
One of the suspects, who was intercepted by the police on a motorcycle, attempted to run away but was swiftly chased down by the police. He was, however, not caught as the police refrained from firing gunshots at him. While we were at the scene, the governor also arrived to assess the level of damage done at the toll gate following days of violence across the state. In Lagos, Dr. Oguyemi, NTA News.
Nationwide continues with Nolin in Abuja. Nolin, over to you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Property worth millions of naira has been burnt and looted in Uyo, Akwa Ibom state capital, by protesters in the guise of SARS. Kelvin Samuel, who went round the metropolis, reports that the State Broadcasting Corporation was not spared, although security officers are now at strategic junctions to stop further disruptions.
What started as a peaceful protest by the youth calling for an end to police brutality has turned into an avenue for criminals who seize the opportunity to destroy and loot both government and private businesses around Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. Some of the victims who narrated the incident to NTA Crew say the peaceful protest turned violent at about 5 p.m. when some youths broke into their business premises, destroying and carting away goods and property.
Brutalizing people, burning cars, burning vehicles, stealing and looting, and all that, which was what happened here last night. And there's no basis for it, there's no explanation for it. And we believe that the law will take its course. And so they broke in, looted all the televisions, broke all the demarines and everything, like looted the chairs, the computers. It's very, very unfortunate that in the guise of protesting, people decided to loot.
The burnt and looted establishment includes Anchor Insurance, The Choice Mall, 2 banks, and Akwa Ibom State Broadcasting Corporation (AKBC) administration block. Meanwhile, due to the situation, the state government has extended the curfew, which was initially due to expire by noon of 23rd October till 7 a.m. of 24th October 2020. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
From Uyo, we take you to Anambra, where the state governor, Willie Obiano, has announced the imposition of a 24-hour curfew in the state effective 8 p.m. Thursday, 22nd October 2020. Governor Willie Obiano made the announcement during a statewide broadcast. The governor says the curfew has become necessary due to unpleasant incidents and rising tension recorded in the state. He directed the closure of all schools and markets in the state, all large gatherings in any form also banned. He wants security agencies to resist all forms of provocation and the use of extreme force while enforcing compliance. The governor called on stakeholders, including the clergy, traditional rulers, youth leaders, among others, to speak to the protesters on the need to embrace peace and shun violence, especially in the destruction of federal institutions' properties. Governor Obiano announced that the sum of 200 million naira has been approved to compensate families of those affected by SARS brutality in the state. It's time for a break. Nationwide will be back shortly. Stay with us.
The recent genuine concerns and agitations by Nigerians about the excessive use of force and, in some cases, extrajudicial killings and wrongful conduct by men of the Nigerian police force. The disbanding of SARS is only the first step in our commitment to extensive police reform in order to ensure that the primary duty of the police and other law enforcement agencies remains the protection of lives and livelihoods of our people. We will also ensure that all those responsible for misconduct or wrongful acts are brought to justice. We also deeply regret the loss of life of the young man in Oyo State during the recent demonstrations. I have directed that the circumstances of his death should be thoroughly investigated. Meanwhile, it is important to recognize that the vast majority of men and women of the police force are hardworking and diligent in performing their duties. The few bad eggs should not be allowed to tarnish the image and reputation of the force.
Do you desire to upskill your skills and capacities for better productivity? Then you need to attend the following
following courses organized by NTA College, Jos, English Grammar and Pronunciation for Broadcasters. Date 26th October to 20th November 2020. Protocol Event Management and Public Relations. Date 2nd to 13th November 2020. Intermediate Camera Operation Techniques. Date 2nd to 13th November 2020. Intermediate Online News Reporting Skills. Date 16th to 27th November 2020. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant, while the fee for other courses is 80,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA Television College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Mr. President said the youth of the country have spoken, and he has heard, and he has since gone to work for the youth of our country, not just as a president, but even as a father of the younger generation.
The real Nigerian youth is a patriot, not a tool of destabilization.
Mr. President made an appeal to the Nigerian youth that this protest, wherever held, should be done in a peaceful manner. The Nigerian youth should be on their guard to make sure that elements that will infiltrate and distract them from the very purpose of their protest should be prevented from doing so.
Listen to the voice of reason.
Thank you for staying with us on Nationwide. The Southeast Governors Forum has frowned at insinuations in some quarters that the SARS protest is an ethnic affair. This was part of the outcome of a virtual meeting held in Abakaliki. The chairman and governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, briefed journalists at the end of the meeting. Kingsley Okoro reports.
Making reference to a video trending in social media alleged to have emanated from Nnamdi Kanu, branding SARS protest to an Igbo agenda, Governor David Umahi says it's not true and is not saying the mind of Igbo leaders.
We as leaders of Southeast do condemn in strong terms the audio video in circulation in social media said to have emanated from Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, though he has since denied it. We condemn the attempts by some ethnic groups to brand SARS the affairs of the Igbos.
He said there was nothing wrong in the peaceful protesters' demand, which the government is already working hard to fulfill. Governor Umahi rather called on leaders of other zones to work with the security agencies within the ambit of the law to secure lives and property of the people.
We want to appeal to all our people all over Nigeria and beyond to please disembark from SARS protest. So I appeal to our brothers from the north, our leaders from the north, our leaders from the west, our leaders from south, all our leaders all over the nation to please do everything to continue to maintain peace among all the ethnic groups.
When condemning killings of Lekki peaceful protesters, Governor Umahi called on the youth from the zone to pull out of SARS protest and dialogue for the good of the country. On the destruction of public facilities in the state by the hoodlums, the governor directed security agents and youth from the state to work in synergy to avert further destruction. In Abakaliki, Kingsley Okoro, NTA News.
From Abakaliki, we move to Cross River State. Following the directive of President Muhammadu Buhari, Rivers and Akwa Ibom states have set up judicial panels of inquiry to investigate causes of police brutality and all forms of violation of fundamental human rights of citizens by the Nigerian police, particularly the disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. Ogidinwekwere reports.
To provide solution to the agitations of the Nigerian youths,
on the clamor to end the inhuman treatment perpetrated by the officers, men, and operatives of the Nigerian police, particularly the Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS across the country. Rivers and Akwa Ibom states have set up a 9 and 8-member judicial commission of inquiries.
Recommend appropriate sanctions, punishment, or other penalties to be imposed on the perpetrators of the said acts of violence, torture, murder, and violation of fundamental rights and all other atrocities that occur in River State.
Had a lot of interactive sessions with the police and other armed forces concerning, abuses of human rights. I think all of you that know me very well, you know that I don't like that at all. I uphold human rights seriously. We don't abuse it.
Chairman of the panels, retired Justices Chukwunonye Uriri and Okana Efio, promised to discharge their duties with every sense of diligence and honesty. In Port Harcourt, Ogedi Nyekwiri, NTA News.
And in Kano, civil society organizations in Kano have resolved to work with the state government towards sustaining the peaceful coexistence prevailing in the state. This was during an interactive session with Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje on how to make Kano safe for all. Abdullahi Mustafa has the report.
The meeting, which was at the instance of Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, was in view of security concerns in some major cities across Nigeria. It had in attendance representatives of various youth groups and civil society organizations who commended government's proactiveness and assured of adequate support and cooperation.
We need to all come together to support the government of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, to ensure the desired peace we all expected.
Your Excellency, we made a lot of advocacy to your office in respect of the Kano State Security Trust Fund. I think this is the right time that the trust fund should be established to curtail this kind of unforeseen issue.
States need to domesticate the national youth policy.
So I want the government to try and regulate, to try to see the way it can formulate a kind of body that will regulate our activities on social media.
As a major commercial hub, Governor Ganduje noted, Kano is witnessing continuous economic growth due to the ability of its residents to live in peace with one another.
Kano is great because of having different nationalities. That is why we are big. There's no doubt about this.
He stressed that this should be sustained and improved so that Kano could serve as a model to other states. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Here in Abuja, the Nigerian Women of Faith Network, a coalition of Christian and Muslim women, has made an appeal for Nigerian youth to leave the streets, return home, and give government time to back their words with action. This is in the interest of peace and progress. The women appeal. Momso Demian Ati has details.
They are mothers, caregivers, cradle naturers, and peacemakers. They are Christians, they are Muslims, from the north, east, west, and south. They are united by one common goal: peace, unity, and progress of Nigeria.
Women of Nigeria, we have not been sleeping, we have not been eating. The nation is ours, the government is ours, the youths are ours.
They have an appeal to the youths.
Not to think ethnicity, not to think religion, but to think of Nigeria as a nation. Because that's the only way. If we're not patriotic towards Nigeria, then nobody can help us. We only have ourselves to help ourselves. We appreciate you as genuine protesters. But please ponder and see what the mischief makers are doing with what your intentions are. If you tarry and ponder, you will see that there is no connectivity in most of the agendas. The blood-guttering is too much. Something that we didn't think our youths could do was done. It was peaceful, well organized, but unfortunately, hoodlums decided to hijack their well-meant intention.
Also, awards to government at all levels.
Explore avenues through which it can bring the youth together for dialogue, for consultation, so that this enhances their participation in governance. And that way,
for politicians and privileged leaders who are taking advantage of the situation.
on these Nigerians, please retrieve your steps. Please stop inciting these youths. Stop turning them into tools. Stop for destruction. Stop using them to foment trouble. Stop using them to destroy our country.
While these women fast and pray for the peace of Nigeria, they are appealing that all hands be on deck to fix the nation. Momso Damien Lati, NTA News.
I quote, "Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding." End of quote. These words of renowned theoretical physicist Albert Einstein re-echoed when some youth in Cross River State joined in the clamor for an end to the nationwide SARS protest to allow government to implement their demands. More so, that the president has addressed the nation on the development. Umobasi Edet has details.
These are the youth from Cross River State preaching the gospel of peace. From one street to the other, they move to speak against violence. Coming under the aegis of the South-South Legacy Group, they plead for dialogue as a way to meaningful resolution in the face of escalating violence.
I think it is time we try to also give government a window to begin implementations, because war is senseless, and you know that peace is also priceless. And we are talking about infrastructural decay, and now destructions are beginning to be done to those infrastructures. So how do we do two wrongs? Two wrongs cannot make a right.
Our youths are dying because of the violent situation. Now we are saying that Cross River State will not take part in the youth. Yes, we are agitating for answers. It is true, but answers, we have passed the message to the government. And as such, we are saying that the youth should give the government some time to implement those things we are asking for.
Others are hopeful that government will be sincere in addressing the demands of the youths for a better future.
Tomorrow, a better one, and give us a kind of a hopeful future.
The government should recognize us. There should be peace and unity. With the NSAS protest now hijacked by hoodlums, observers say it has become necessary for the youth to be more strategic in making their demands to check for the loss of lives and property.
In Calabar, Umo Basadate, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps has decried incessant attacks on its personnel and operational tools due to the SARS protests ongoing in the country. In a statement, the Corps says its commands and operatives in some parts of the country have been attacked following the SARS protest, leading to destruction of operational vehicles and tools and massive looting of valuables, including driver's license centers. While no life was lost, some of the staff who sustained injuries are being treated. The states affected include Abia, Anambra, Delta, Edo, Imo, Lagos, and Enugu. The statement also says that the FRSA Corps Marshal Boboe Oyemi has directed all formations of the Corps to be on alert and scale down enforcement and commencement of daily security guide to avert further attacks. Reiterating commitment of the FRSA to maintaining national peace and security, the Corps Marshal advised members of the public to call the numbers displayed on the screen. Ensuring an efficient intelligence gathering in Nigeria and having total control of the cyberspace should take the center while evaluating the costs and impact of the SARS protest in Nigeria. Guests on NTS Good Morning Nigeria who said this while discussing SARS protest counting the cost also raised issues of compensation to individuals who may lost livelihoods and loved ones as a result of the protest. Oluseyi Adiagbo reports.
We all started this together, but when it got to a point whereby we are now losing the gap, we waited to address a press conference in order to to appeal to the youth that as at the level we are, this is a red flag for the miscreants who have infiltrated this ongoing peaceful move. There is a need for us to retreat and give the government ultimatum in order to also have a developed and pragmatic solutions to our demands.
Oladotun Azan, President Yoruba Council of Youth, sharing his perspective on what he says is the hijack of a peaceful end SARS protest in different parts of the country. He appealed to the youth to negotiate their demands peacefully. For SARS protesters to give governments a chance to implement their demands.
Now you ask for 5 things. Things have started happening. We should have gone back. The protesters should have gone back to now begin to strategize on how to make sure that these 5 demands are carried through, and not to say we remain on the streets.
A security risk management expert, Kabiru Adamu, described destruction of lives and property as part of a scripted theory of anarchy.
What we saw is a theory of anarchy. It appears it was scripted. The youth had a legitimate demand. They came out to protest, and then the author of that script hijacked the process. The moment Edo happened, the red flags went up for me.
The guests appealed for calm and enjoined opinion leaders in the country to preach peace and unity at all times. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, Nta News.
Salamatu in Kaduna has other reports on security. Hi, Salamatu.
Thank you, Nolan, and welcome to Kaduna. 86 personnel of the Defense Intelligence Agency have concluded 4 weeks training in weapon handling at the Air Force Regiment Training Center, Kaduna. This, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, says is critical to the success of military mission across the country. Abdullahi Muhammad reports.
The Nigerian Air Force combat jet hitting targets of adversaries with precision, a task that can only be successful with painstaking intelligence gathering. While sniffing into the territories of the enemies, the intelligence officers no doubt encounter life-threatening scenarios. The Nigerian Air Force Regiment Training Center has remained a preparing ground for them in self-defense through proper weapon handling. Who else holds his shoulder high as a result of this development than the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar? He sent in a message crediting President Muhammadu Buhari for the successes recorded by the Nigerian Air Force in all ramifications.
At this juncture, I would like to express my profound gratitude to Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, for his support and ensuring the Nigerian Air Force is better equipped to fulfill its statutory responsibilities.
This new set of 86 personnel of the Defense Intelligence Agency are surely going back to the theater of war with new ideas and techniques that will cripple the enemy. In Kaduna, Abdullah Mohammed, Nta News.
House of Representatives Committee on Health says it has resolved to ensure that all health institutions across the country provide the needed services that will address the medical needs of Nigerians. The committee chairman, Pascal Obi, stated this when he led other members on oversight to Ahmad Bello University Teaching Hospital, Shikas Zaria. Sagir Muhammad Awad has the details.
The tour is to avail the committee members first-hand details of how the hospital utilizes the funds appropriated to it in the 2020 budget. The committee members took time to inspect intervention and capital projects executed by the teaching hospital and identified areas that require urgent intervention. Representative Pascal Obi noted that in spite of the notable challenges the hospital is facing in the areas of funds, power and equipment, its leadership has revived the image of the hospital as one of the leading teaching hospitals in the country.
In Ahmad Bello University Teaching Hospital, we have gone round. We have a very, very
energetic, and competent Chief Medical Director. I also want to commend the action of federal government who, in their wisdom, responded to the cry of the institution.
And actually, this is just ongoing. By the time we come back in the next 2 months or thereabout, you'll see more changes.
The Chief Medical Director pledged the institution's readiness to judiciously utilize the resources at its disposal. In Zaria, I'm Sagir Muhammad Awal, NTA News.
That is it from here. Back to Nolin in Abuja.
Thank you so much, Salamatu. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has postponed the 15 national and state assembly by-elections earlier scheduled for the 31st of October in 11 states. A statement by the INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festus Okoye, notes that the decision is in compliance with Section 26, subsection 2, of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, which gives the Commission the power to postpone an election if there is reason to believe that a serious breach of the peace is likely to occur if the election is proceeded with on that date, or that it is impossible to conduct the elections as a result of natural disasters or other emergencies. The statement further adds that the Commission will continue to monitor the situation in all the states and constituencies, consult with relevant stakeholders, and meet again in 2 weeks to review the situation and decide on a feasible date for the elections. The Commission appeals for calm and understanding of the stakeholders and voters in the states where elections were scheduled. The International Human Rights Commission has pledged its support to the federal government for nominating the FCT Chief Judge, Justice Ishaq Bello, to the upper chambers of the International Criminal Court. Country head of the commission, Dr. Sani Friday, made this known while briefing the media on the importance of the nomination by Mr. President. He said the nomination is coming at a time Nigeria and the world is in their need of having strong characters at the International Criminal Court.
Of course, we can't even be talking of human rights violation and its consequences without looking at a law that is beyond our municipal law. And the only organization that has jurisdiction beyond our municipal law is the International Criminal Court. And that is why it is highly significant to discuss it. It's highly significant to give all the support.
The Commission also called on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to commence campaign as it did to other Nigerian diplomats. The federal government's effort at promoting electronic governance is gathering pace. Ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, are jostling to outperform each other. The latest evaluation conducted by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms on websites of MDAs adjudges the National Identity Management Commission, NIMSIS, as the most efficient. Victor Azu engages the Director General of NIMSI to tap into the secrets of this feat.
The application of information technology, better known as electronic governance, has over time become very useful in delivering government services to citizens in a convenient, efficient, and transparent manner. This explains why the federal government has continued to encourage ministries, departments, and agencies in that direction while engendering a healthy competition. One of such is the website's ranking of MDAs using criteria that include domain strength, aesthetics, content, security, and functionality, among others. The most recent ranking released by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms, BPSR, places the National Identity Management Commission, NIMSI, at the top.
We designed it in-house. We also have people in-house that are populating it. As much as possible, we are proactive of all the questions that general public will have, and we always populate that to make it also interactive with the general public.
Indeed, there must be something NIMSI is doing right. Not long ago, an ICPC appraisal on transparency in governance rated NIMSI overall third among government agencies.
We will concentrate and then work harder on accountability and transparency.
These achievements may be why, on a recent visit to the Commission, the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy tasked the agency to increase its monthly digital identity capture from 500,000 Nigerians to 2.5 million Nigerians. NIMSI's inadequacies notwithstanding, antecedents suggest that it's a target that the Commission is set to surpass. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Nonchalant attitudes and lack of awareness have been said to be among some of the factors contributing to the alarming rate of oil pipeline vandalism and oil spillage across the country. This was during a courtesy visit to the Nigerian Television Authority headquarters, Abuja, where the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency solicited partnership with the NTA to escalate advocacy on these challenges. Ekemini Williams has details.
Director General, National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, Idris Musa, speaking on the alarming frequency of oil spillage in the country. He is seeking partnership with the NTA in order to bring the menace to a stop.
And these are the money spent on this ought ordinarily to go to some provision of some other amenities and facilities for the betterment of the Nigerian populace. So these are some of the challenges that we have. And we believe if we begin to sensitize very much more, it will enter the ears of the people more.
Director General, NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, on his part, restated NTA's commitment to partnerships geared towards national growth and development.
Information is critical, because there's a lot of environmental, nonchalance, environmental illiteracy in this country. I'm offering you free of charge, gratis, appearance of one of our personality programs, one-on-one. It's a 1-hour program. You'll be able to talk at length, try and educate Nigerians on the agency, what it does, what you expect of Nigerians, and so on and so forth.
In another development, members of the African Union Economic, Social and Cultural Council, led by Tunji Ashaulu, Nigeria's representative, Social Affairs and Health at the AU, also solicited partnership with the NTA in promoting the vast areas of opportunities Nigerian investors can derive from AU's strategic development framework, tagged Agenda 2063, the Africa we want.
The need to partner with the NTAs is be an avenue for people to know more about this program and, of course, to also key into all these benefits.
Another partnership-seeking four-man team from the Africa Youth Growth Foundation also paid the NTA a courtesy visit, looking to sensitize youths on the dangers of illegal migration. All these visits were held in strict compliance with COVID-19 protocols. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Another break beckons on Nationwide. Stay with us.
Demands of #EndSARS movement. Immediate release of all arrested protesters. Justice for all deceased victims of police brutality and appropriate compensation for their families. Setting up an independent body to oversee the investigation and prosecution of all reports of police misconduct within 10 days. Retraining to be confirmed by an independent body of all disbanded SARS officers before they can be redeployed. Increase police salary so that they are adequately compensating the lives and property of citizens. Federal government response. On 11th October 2020, the Inspector General of Police dissolved the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, across 36 states police commands and the Federal Capital Territory. The disbanding of SARS is only the first step in our commitment to extensive police reforms. On 13th October 2020, the Inspector General of Police ordered all defunct SARS personnel to report at Force Headquarters, Abuja, for debriefing as well as psychological and medical examination. On 13th October 2020, the Presidential Panel on the Reform of SARS accepted the 5-point demand of the #EndSARS protesters. On 15th October 2020, the National Economic Council, NEC, directed the immediate establishment of state-based judicial panels of inquiry across the country to receive and investigate complaints of police brutality, related extrajudicial killings, with a view to delivering justice for all victims of the dissolved SARS and other police units. State governors should immediately establish state-based special security and human rights committees to be chaired by governors in their states and to supervise the newly formed police tactical units and all other security agencies located in the state. This will ensure the protection of citizens' human rights. Members will also include representatives of youth and civil society, as well as head of police tactical units in each of the states.
From a day, Nta International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Preview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android, Intelsat 901 degree east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. Nta International, Africa's window to the world.
My name is Nandov Jamda. I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for more than 8 years now.
I've been selling my tomatoes for about 10 years now, and I do it for a better Nigeria.
And I do it for a better Nigeria.
And you can see how we are doing our small little work to make Nigeria great.
As you can see, I'm a technician and I'm doing it to help myself and to help my generation.
Business. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Sports update is next with Bade Adele.
The 2020 World Polio Day National Para-Soccer Tournament climaxes this Saturday in Abuja. This year's tournament, which is the 8th edition, has witnessed the unprecedented participation of a private para-soccer club, a development organizers believe has increased the level of competitiveness as well as the popularity of the sport.
We are improving every day. The skills of the athlete, the discipline of the athlete, and also the state is improving. And those are some of the things we are working on.
To football, newly appointed technical advisor of Kano Pillars, Lionel Soka, says he is determined to make history with the team. The French tactician, who was unveiled Thursday, has been saddled with leading the team to domestic and continental glory, a challenge he claims is prepared for.
My job is win, and it's good work for win every day, every game. In the league or in the cup, same for me.
Elsewhere, West Ham United will be looking to extend their impressive 3-game unbeaten run in the Premier League, where they welcome Manchester City, who are in search of their 3rd win of the season, to the London Stadium, with the match live on NTA from 12 noon on Saturday. Other fixtures will see Manchester United entertain Chelsea in a cracker, with champions Liverpool playing host to Sheffield United. To mixed martial arts, Khabib Nurmagomedov aiming to take another step towards becoming the greatest fighter in UFC history when he faces lightweight rival Justin Gaethje in UFC 254 on Saturday in Abu Dhabi. Nurmagomedov has seen off all 28 opponents to hold the MMA record for the longest active undefeated streak. With sports updates, Bade Adeleye, NT News.
And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for watching. I am Nolin Ebel Ame.